Hello everyone, this is Merrick with Merrick Makes, and today we're going to be painting up a Brun Cragback and his big pal Lug. These are both old Rulik models from Warmachine. I love them. It's a little dwarf and his big bear, and I think we're gonna have some fun painting them together. So just to start off and go over things, the we're going to go over just like some extra details from his the primary, I guess, materials that we're going to be working on are metal for his weapons, both the gun and the hatchet. Clothing would be a gray. He had both him and Craig or Lug have a big coat of animal fur and the like, along with his hat. So we'll do some whites and grays in there, and then some little blue details and facial features as well. That'll be tan or like a cream color. So we'll work on that, and then we'll just get cracking. So today we're going to be using, for the metals, True Pro Acrylics. I'm thinking I start with a dark silver as the base, hit a silver coat on top of that as the highlight, and then white gold to either blend in some spots or give a bit of an extra shine. If you don't have these particular colors, using so like the equivalents for most others would be a like mixing black into a quicksilver, and then taking a gold and adding it to a silver itself. So basically what we're getting is a darker color and then a color with a little bit of gold mixed into it. So we're going to start off with the dark silver, and we're going to give his axe just a nice coat of that. So we're going to do take all of the concepts of a non-metallic metal, and we'll put that and apply it here. So on his gun here, we have kind of two primary different textures. We have the metal itself, and we also have some wood that we'll paint brown later. So that's most of the silver areas, I think, on him. I'm gonna get a little bit onto his tabard, and then I think we're good on him. Maybe the pommel. The rest of that's gonna be a cloth color and wood. Now we're gonna do lug. Basically doing the same thing, just lots of silver everywhere. Go to a different brush. I'll use it myself. So don't worry too much about getting perfect coverage. A little bit of shadow or texture can be kind of nice. So then on this model, you'll notice in areas like here and here on the inside, Those are actually not armor. That is a undercloth. So we'll paint that a different color later. And then on here for the chainmail, I'm just going over it very lightly just to hit the chainmail, not the cloth underneath. So we might repaint that later, as we might do the whole thing in a cloth color brown or something like that, and then re-go over it lightly with the black and silver. So for most metallics, you want to have a black undercoat. And for this model, I primed it with a Vallejo black brush primer. Okay. So between the two of them, that is the first coats of blackish silver. Wash my brush off, and I'm going to take a little bit of a lighter silver. I'm actually going to take the two and mix it and get it nice in between. What we're going to do now is kind of give some highlights. Might edge it too. And then we'll take some of that very bright silver. Just get a little bit here and there. Gonna do the same for lug. We'll mix up some more of that darker silver. Just apply it maybe So now we're at a point where you can kind of start seeing all these little highlights that we're adding. We're mostly leaving that dark silver in the shadows and things like that, so that it can give a bit more of a body and like less of a flatness to that metal. And then now we're going to take a little bit of that gold. We're just going to kind of edge it. He also has pommels that we're going to do. I missed earlier. Okay, so with that, we have pretty good situation with both of the models here. We have kind of a messed up metallic. It's not necessarily like dirty or anything, but has some texture and little tarnishing on it. So I think that's starting to look pretty good. So what we're going to do next is we're actually going to take lug back and we're going to do his fur. We're going to be running a natural gray and dark ivory for that by Pro Acrylic. So the dark ivory is actually from Ninjon's signature series. So if you're trying to figure out why that one's not in any of the main sets, that would be why. So I'm thinking we're actually gonna dry brush this. So I'm gonna dry brush the gray on, and then we'll go into the ivory. So dry brushing is fairly straightforward. We're just gonna take some paint and just mash it into the brush a bunch. Partly why I'm using a messed up brush, so I don't feel bad ruining one of my good ones. And with that, you're just gonna lightly go over all the places that you want. That dry brushing is going to catch the edges and give us a kind of soft color change and gradient. So now I'm going to wait for a second for that to dry, and then I'm going to take the white, do a little bit heavier but similar thing. So that gray is going to give us this almost like a blue undertone. And then the white will be the primary color of his fur. I think I might need to dry for a little bit longer. We're going to come back to that. Otherwise, we're going to just start blending colors. That will not look anywhere near as good. So back to Crag. We are going to work on his face, I'm thinking. So I have Dark Warm Flesh, another Ninjon signature. And then for our highlight on top of that, we'll be using Warm Flesh. Don't need very much as his face is rather small. So now that that's first layer of his face is done, I'm going to probably start working on the rest of Cragback. Actually, I have his whole back. I'm going to go do that first. Some nice gray in there. This is going to be the same rough color as Cragback. Back to Cragback. We're going to grab some of that ivory white. I'm going to just take it and just kind of dry brush it first. Would probably be good. All right. So with that done, we're gonna start on the leather parts. So this will be our darker base coat for a lot of things. We're gonna hit his belt as well. And the gun with the same brown. We'll just do all the brown, sticky, woody, leathery things. His axe also has some spots that will be brown. A bit harder to get though. All right, I think that's everything on. I'll actually hit the bands on his head, maybe. We'll pause on Bruner for now. Let's get back into Cragback. So we'll use this brown leathery color for the under kind of garment for his armor and the belts as well. So we'll do all that in this color, and then we'll go do one tan, and then we'll hit the other one more of a dark reddish. So base coat wise though, we're doing the same color. Okay, so I think that is the rest of all the leather parts on either of them. So I'm now going to go back over with our silver quickly, just touch things up. We'll also do all of the clasps for the belts. So now for our gums, we're gonna, believe it or not, another ninja. We're gonna do some fun purpley on the gums. Give it a little bit of a bestial look. Okay, so now that we've done that, I'm going to do the leather in a quick wash. Let me also take this color and toss a little bit into the metal kind of joint cracks. Give it a little depth. Now that we have done that, I'm going to start working on. I'm going to redo the face of Cragback. Just get another layer down on here. Don't worry too much about the beard. We'll do that later, after we're done with his face. So I think we're going to go and then re-hit the coat and fur of both the boys, as I kind of like the blue on it, but it was not in what the intent of that color was. So I'm going to take the ivory and just kind of preset it up to dry brush over top everything. I'm now going to take another brush and just lightly go over the top of all the areas that the big brush would not be ideal to go into. We'll go back over the brown again just to make sure all that looks good. Make sure your brush is really dry though in between each wash so that it doesn't wick too much. Just kind of using the edge of my brush here to catch all the details. I'm gonna go back over with any brown and silver that I may have messed up a wee bit. I'm pausing the weight on doing his hands and arms so I don't have to like re-clean him up every time. So just on Cragback, I missed the little strap here on his back, or lug. Missed the strap on lug, and then we'll recolor in all these lovely straps. So now with our leathers, We're gonna go and take a red gray. This is what we're gonna highlight some of our straps with. For the rest of the jaws, I'll take some Screamer or Emperor's Children. For the teeth, we're actually going to probably take some of this red gray again. Just go back over them. I'm actually going to grab a little bit of the purple, mix it in there. Kind of a dark, grungy look. We'll go over each tooth individually. This will be the base for when I put the white on top. And for the claws, we're going to reuse this brown. Now for the tops of the teeth and the claws, we're going to use the same one we used on his face, that warm flesh on the bronze face. We'll make sure they just enough of the claw that you can kind of see the edge. Or the inside, so it kind of gives the impression of like a shadow. Go over each one of his tooth in a similar way. Okay, so we kind of finished up the like a lot of the good details on him. I think all that's really left on him is the pads of his paws and that like loincloth thing on his back. So for the pads on his nose, we're gonna use a black to start. I'm gonna use up the rest of my army painter black. So we'll use some of that. We'll toss a little bit of gray over top it, just to kind of highlight it. Because for both straight black and straight white, it's a little harsh on most things. Usually don't want to go just a straight black or white because it's kind of unnecessary. I'll toss a little bit of black in there. And then we might go over it with a little bit of red or something. Just kind of make it pop. He's not just any normal bear. He's a crazy, wild, demon-possessed bear. So, do a couple little cleanups, certain areas. Okay. Finally, the tabard. I'm actually going to do this in, let's think. I'm going to do Cragback in a little bit of a blue. Might. We're going to go Signar blue base, a dark kind of blue to go over that. Then we're going to shake it up. Drop our mic. We're going to add a bunch of water to this. We're going to thin it down a good bit. Make it pretty milky. What I'm going to do is basically wash the area in a pretty thick wash. And then wipe down the excess that we're just left with. Blue and silver. Okay, so that's kind of that for now while we wait for it to dry. All right, everyone, we are back. So, we have now basically finished Lug. So taking a look at him, we have finished the lovely dude. Except for that chainmail, which is now dried. So we're gonna hit that quickly. I'm gonna nab some. Gonna do a dark silver first. Don't need much for this. Wet my brush, and I'm gonna dry it off again, just to kind of freshen up those bristles. Massage a little bit in there, and then I'll lightly go over it. The goal with this is to make sure that none of it actually gets onto the blue. We're just trying to get those initial chainmail links. If you want to shine it up, you can by adding a little bit of extra, another layer or two. But for this demonstration, I don't feel it necessary. And when that's dry, we'll slap a little highlight there with it. So we'll put him off to the side for now. Now we're gonna come and look back at Brune. So we can actually take the same dark blue that we just finished up on Lug, and we will be tossing it down on his pants and loincloth. Seems my brush is a little too wet. So we're gonna try to dab some of that back off. Now for Brune's beard, facial hair, and all of that, we're gonna use our dark gray. Go over all his hair. That's not looking too bad. Only other parts can be his arms. We're gonna add some more of that darker flesh tone to our palette. Might be a little bit too much, but we'll be fine. While that dries, we're going to go back over some of the metal that we have on his armor. We're using that dark silver for that. I'm also going to add some dark silver to the kind of claw mouth thing on his axe. We'll probably just leave it as that because I kind of like how it looks with the two tones. We're then going to come back to that gray and apply that to his little rune stones on his front of his garb. They actually stick out pretty far, so if you want to hit them, and make sure you hit the back of them too. I'm gonna also touch up a little bit of his fur that he's wearing. Now on the fur, there are claws and teeth, and so I'm going to kind of do the same thing we did with Lug earlier, with a little bit of purple, and then cream color, probably this dark ivory, to go over those, just to give a little bit of a contrast. That also helps it give a little bit of a shadow underneath so you can better see those pieces. Now we let that part dry. We're going to go back to that metal armor, hit it with white silver, and then probably a tiny little bit of the gold like we did Lug. I'm going to add a little bit of brown to his boots. And then last thing we're going to do is re-highlight his skin and those teeth. Gonna hit those teeth again and the claws. We're just gonna do a little bit on the outside to give the illusion of shadow underneath. All right, so that's where I'm kind of gonna leave it for the most part with the lug. I'm gonna actually hit his beard first with a little bit of white. Ivory will also work. I'm feeling pretty good about that. So that is the end result. So, thank you guys so much for watching, and I hope you have a lovely day. Thank you all so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed the video, and I would appreciate if you like, subscribe, and comment. Maybe comment on a figure I should paint, or comment on something that color or technique I could have added or done differently. I'm still learning how to not only paint but also produce these videos. So any constructive criticism would be wonderful and appreciated. So thank you all. Appreciate it, and goodbye.